Hello again, and my apologies for this late follow-on to my workshops. This is episode number 25. There's been a lot going on for me over the last 2 months, so much so that there was just no way that I could schedule any shows, the interview shows, or even this workshop. So I thought it best to just put a hold on everything for the time being, get my thoughts together, and start up again. There's a couple of close friends that know exactly what's happened. Effectively, I left my project manager job at the exhibition company, and I'm now going to concentrate 100% on my photography and workshops and the show. And there'll be more information coming forward to you in the future. So please keep a good look on the website, my website, photographyliveanduncut.com, where a couple of new services will be available to you to come and join me to do some workshops, street workshops, and also some architectural workshops in the future. So that's basically what's been going on this last few months for me. I did note that I think the last episode we did was back in September. So we've had a full month basically out of doing workshops like this. I nearly, in actual fact, forgot how to start the broadcast. But anyway, what I'd like to do tonight is basically go straight back to the Flickr. There's been so many images uploaded, and thank you again so much for continuing the uploads. And we're going to get this workshop back online. In actual fact, I think this is the only workshop, if you want to call it, that is available where your work is critiqued or commented on. I'm not here to tell you the be-all and end-all on how to improve your photography, but if there are certain little aspects that I see which I think will be of interest, that maybe to improve that photograph, then I'll try and point that out to you. But as I say, I think it's the only show on YouTube where you will in actual fact get a live comment on your photographs, which are updated to or posted up onto our Flickr group, which you will find. There is one aspect of this. Please update your photographs to the Photography Live and Uncut workshop. There is another Photography Live and Uncut group which is going to be closed in the next 2 or 3 days. So upload your photographs to Photography Live and Uncut workshop. So with no further ado, let's go straight into the screen share and we'll start having a look at some of the latest images. I'm going to keep these fairly brief, but I want to basically talk about the photographs that have been uploaded, and there's been some fantastic work uploaded by some good friends. And then at the end, I must try and remember, I've got a tip for you guys, how to get your photographs better recognized and better voted on 500px. There's something which I've come across, which I think if we all collectively work together, and there's over 33 members within our group, if we all collectively work together, I think we could get our photographs certainly in the high 85 to 90% viewing ratings, which is great because that's where the editors of 500px pick up the photographs, and who knows, you may get spotted. So anyway, let's have a look at this one here. This is a great image by Stuart Marshall. Lovely landscape. I love the lead in of the lane up to the farmhouse. The lights on in the evening, so it's just approaching an evening time. I love the cloud that you've created, a nice sort of graduated cloud effect. The post on the right hand side gives me a foreground. I like that, and I like the way that, as I say, the lane or this unmade road leads straight in up to the farmhouse with the chimney stacks and all those items. The wall again leading to the tree. So we've got a lot of leading lines here which help us to view into the image. Is it a little bit over green with the grass? I think it is just a little bit too saturated for my liking, and I think probably the blue sky is a little bit too enhanced. They're the only two criticisms I would make of it, Stuart. I think it's a great photograph. A lot of people would say, no, forget it, throw it away. Probably like to see it in mono, but I think it's a great photograph. Just be a little bit careful on your saturation and vibrancy of the colors. Let's have a quick look down. Nikon D800, great camera, 35mm lens, f4, and you've put the ND filters on just to stop it down to get the. I'm assuming you wanted a little bit of an effect up here with the cloud. 83 favorites. There you go. See, I'm not one to comment and critique on one that's been favored by 83 people and 2,420 views. Lovely image, Stuart. To my mind, just a little picky. Watch your vibrancy. Next image, this is a great shot, well seen by Andrew, where someone, a person is walking up the stairs. He's looking through a window here with the shutters and obviously the wood effect on the front of the house. Great shot, nice and grainy, very punchy. I like this a great deal because this is something where someone has seen something going on and has taken that opportunity to take the shot. Just be a little bit careful of your uprights. Is it leaning slightly to the right, or am I being put off by that horizontal line? Be a little bit careful on the uprights. I think it's just a smidge out, but that is again a very, very minor point. It's a lovely image, Andrew, and thanks for posting up. I love the grain in the image. Let's have a look, see what you used to take it. If the details are here, I hope so. Doesn't appear. No, unfortunately, they're not. They're not there. That doesn't matter. But I love the grain effect on it, and just be a little bit mindful of this line here with regards to the upright of the image. It's just leaning slightly down. I'm over exaggerating with my cursor. Thanks, Andrew. Another image by Andrew here. Great street shot, well captured. She's deep in thought. She's coming back from shopping or maybe from work, and it's a great image here. You got your verticals perfect here. That I can see. Lovely effect with the sky. It's not blown out. Good tonality in the image. Only 4 favorites. Come on, guys. This should have more favorites than this. This is a great street shot. It's well seen. He's anticipated this lady, or someone is going to be walking towards what appears to be these steps. And I think it's great. And it's not dead center. It's just slightly off center. And he's using all the leading lines to bring you into this image. Well done, Andrew. Great shot. Thanks for sharing it with us. This one by James, and James, thanks for joining me on 500px. I think I may have commented on this one before, but even so, I love the abstract nature of the image. I love the color, the strength. I would have preferred to have seen the bee and the knob, that pink knob sticking out there, in focus. That's my own preference. I think there's a crop issue as well, maybe on the right hand side. Just get rid of that yellow area down in here, bring the crop down here a little bit. Again, this is all my personal preferences for it, but even so, it's a great abstract shot that you've posted up here for us. Lovely cobweb here, but I'm just I would like to have seen the bee in focus with the pink knob, and then I presume that looks like a 9 behind. Throw that out of focus behind, which would have been difficult, but that's where I'd like to see the focus of attention on the B there for me. 11 favorites, using the X Pro 2. What lens is that he's used? He normally makes a comment. Yes, he has Lens Baby. That's probably why he's had the focusing scenario, which throws it out. But even so, great image. Love the abstract. Superb portrait of this gentleman by Grant. I can't fault it. I love the contrast. I love the tonality of this individual. A little spark of his eye there that is catching you as you look. I'm not worried about the person's right eye as we're looking at the left-hand side. I'm not worried about that. I can see the twinkle in that guy's left eye there, which is just fantastic. And I really thank you so much for posting this portrait up. There's nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. And it deserves more favorites than that. Thank you, Grant. Nice photograph of a Cortina left wing, rear wing. And I remember this car going back when I was such a young lad, a few years back. Thank you, Scampagni, for loading it up. It is just a lovely cluster of lights here. Now, a little bit of vibrancy and maybe a little bit of saturation would have helped here. And do you know what? I would have cropped that left-hand side out as well. I would have cropped that out completely, and I would have just concentrated on the curves of this rear part of the car. And now I've said that, I'm hoping I'm right in saying that it is a Cortina. Yes, yes, I'm pretty certain it is. It's a Ford Cortina. So great abstract effect. I'd like to see a little bit more vibrancy, a little bit more saturation of the colors for this this indicator and stoplight and brake light light cluster, I would have cropped that left-hand side off completely there. Take note when you're taking the next photograph, if you've got instruments or noticeables of this nature at these car shows, try and make them away from the car so you can make that clean break. Here, unfortunately, you've got it's going to crop into the main part of the image. So I would just come straight down. I'll do a little bit of a vignette, maybe a little bit of a graduated vignette into that light, and then just get this really nice and bright to emphasize the colors of that rear cluster of lights. 20 favorites. I mustn't forget to mention that Canon EOS 700D and set at 100 ISO. Nice evening shot. I may again have mentioned this before for Scan Painting, a dream machine with the effect of the behind the what do you call that? Can't think what it's called now. He's taking it with a fisheye, nice wide angle, and looking straight up and getting all this sky effect. Combine harvester, it's just come to me. And so he's well deserved 55 favorites that he's got there. John Ilko photograph of the piano keyboard and the music. I'm pretty certain I've commented on that before. So I'll skip on to the next one. The billiard table by James. Yeah, I've commented on that as well before. I like that style. I'm going to not make any more comment about it because the previous show, I'm sure I made a comment on it. And I've certainly made a comment on that one from Atsy and the ripples as well. Lovely shot here, street shot. Old lady looking up, I'm assuming her daughter while she's texting. Great spot, great view. Nice photograph. Maybe I'll just brighten up the center just a little bit, just a little bit. And a temple here by Andrew, Buddhist temple. Again, I've really got nothing major to comment about this. This is a recognition of the temple itself. It's in sharp focus. I'm just looking up at the top here with regards to the to see if it's been over sharpened. It doesn't appear to be. That's there. They are lines there of for the light. So yeah, it's a nice record shot of this temple in I didn't pronounce that. Mea Hongson. How's that? 4 favorites. Interesting shot by John Ilka here. He's framed the temple tower with the leafage from the tree and using the side building to marry the top of the church tower here. Yeah, taken in Florida. XE2 with the trusty 35-1.4 lens. Nice image. She's very crisp on this edge. So watch your over sharpening that you don't get the white halo, John. I think we've mentioned this before. 24 favorites though. Next one, nice image here. Steve Perkins done at night time, using what appears to be. Have you done some HDR work on here? Looks as though you have, using the XT1. But it's a great image. You've really worked hard to bring this foreground highlight of the building out with this totem pole effect at the front here, and then of course you've got the stars in the sky. I wish we saw stars like that in the UK, or certainly where I live down in the south. No chance of seeing that at all. So that's a really, really nice image. Great facial expression caught by Okaha here on the tube or a metro. Brilliant, absolutely caught her brilliantly. She's either she's making an argument, or she's so surprised about the reaction that has either taken place at work or maybe something that happened in the evening. So it's well done. And the other lady just looking at me and saying, what are you going on about? There's a great capture. I love it. she's really telling her the story, and she's well into the story. It's a great capture. Well done. Seen a lot of these ladybirds this year. This black ladybird with the 4 red dots, and 2-spot ladybird taken with a Tamron 90mm macro on the Sony 7. Yeah, great bokeh, love it. Too much bokeh, too much on the left side, probably for my liking. I would come down just to take a squib off the side, off the left hand side here, tightened up a little bit on this right side as well. Basically, I want to concentrate in here, but I love the depth of field. We've got some foliage out of focus here, and obviously the background foliage as well, and the detail on the ladybird. Look at that. That is so sharp. And it hasn't been over sharpened. It's been great work. Well done, Etsy. 54 favorites. This fella here's out looking out the window. Penny for your thoughts. It's a great title for the shot. Boy on a train near Bonn. Lovely, well captured. Love the tonality. Love the bokeh out the window. Yes, you've got enough space there to allow us to see where he's looking. The framework of the window doesn't bother me at all. You've got him perfectly there, and it's good tonality. I can't fault that at all. Maybe to bottom left-hand corner, try and just darken this area down. I'm always very keen to see any areas where it's bright on the edges to lose my focus. That doesn't affect it that much, but I think you could just dull it down a little bit with a vignette in that corner. But again, 47 favorites. Love this image by James with the fairground wheel and spinning chairs. Loads of action going on. It's blurry. It shows movement. It shows color, and it's a deep black background. As this is certainly a great photo taken with a Nikon F3, Nikon 35-200 on Fuji Pro film. 1/30th of a second. Great image. This one makes you think. Take out, and they got the knife and fork on the right hand side with a deep shadow going through the middle. Very well spotted. And again, nothing I would really comment about. Maybe I would have just got rid of that. I would clone that little speck out there. But a lot of people will say that's how you saw it, and that's how I think I should have taken it. Fair enough, I understand that, but it's a distraction, so I would have taken that out. Just that little speck underneath the U of out. I think we've spoken about this one before, Grant. It's a great landscape. It's very, very straightforward. Maybe it's missing something. Maybe it's a very pleasing shot. It's good to look at. It's got a nice lead into the just slightly off center final part of this lake, I'm assuming. The warm color of the rocks at the front, James makes a comment at the front, which is so important, and which is a great lead into the image. But I don't know, I'm looking at it, I'm thinking there's something missing in this image. Could a vignette have helped by just bringing a little bit of concentration into that end of the lake there at the headland? Maybe. But otherwise, sharp. I can't get any closer than that. It's sharp and nice color balance. Nice to see you guys having a chat on the Flickr here. Love this street shot by Andrew. Andrew's putting some good street work together here. Obviously asked this fella for a portrait. He's done that. But the other thing, he's got this other guy in the background there having a cigarette leaning up against the post. Great street. You can look down on the right-hand side to see more activity and what's going on. And he looks a little bit of a character there, doesn't he? That guy in the white vest. And you deserve more favorites than 5 on that particular image, I can tell you. Taken in Bangkok. Great street shot. And well done for asking someone if you can take your portrait. That's what street portraits is all about, and getting out there and talking to people. And this mum's holding a little boy, He's obviously more interested in what appears to be some kind of a toy, or is that a drink that he's got? She's obviously looking for someone, or maybe a bus or something. So there's loads going on here. You can see, and there's a face up here in the left-hand corner, which you wonder, is that necessary? Yes, it is, because there's a bike here. There's a saddle. So that person is obviously doing something with that bike. In the background, you've got people in what appears to be one of those street type restaurants, maybe, or maybe she's just buying something. So it's a great shot, and I really like this. It tells a lovely story of what's going on. What's she looking at? Is she looking for a bus, or is she looking for her husband or boyfriend, or maybe looking for the little boy's mother? It's just so many questions going on here, and I really like that image. Well done. You deserve more favorites than 3. Come on, guys. Let's put some favorites on these photographs of these guys. 2 vacant seats. John Ilko taking 2 vacant seats of a game of drafts. Now, a lot of people would just walk past and say, I can't be bothered. But is there a story here? Yes. Why is the board there with the pieces on the board and no one's playing? Where are they? Have they gone for a beer? And all these questions start coming up. So you've got to look at it in another way. Look at the back seat here in the window reflection. Reflects what this seat is here. And you can see this is obviously on some kind of a porch, probably one of those raised pavement areas in Bradenton, Florida, I'm assuming. There's a story here. Where are those fellas gone? Lovely grainy effect. Almost, there's a two-tone in this. Lovely editing work here, Andrew. I really like this in terms of you've taken an image and you've probably thought, I can do better than that image, and you've taken it into some form of editing profile and you've worked on it and you've created a form of art, and it's really very pleasing. I love the two-tone elements to this with the grainy, scratched surface of the background. Another image here, quite a bit of grain in this, and it looks like some tonality effect has been put onto the image with the shadows. Excuse me. And it's in its abstract form, it's quite intriguing, isn't it? You're looking at the shadow there on the higher part of these doors, and love the square format. It's ideal for the square format, this image. It's I just love the abstract work there of that image and the way you've edited it after you've got it back onto your computer. Just see if he makes any comment. No. Young girl taking a photograph of drinking her orange juice. I'm assuming this is a grab shot, and you got to be careful. But well done, Kaka, for putting this image on and taking the photograph. She's miles away. She's miles away. Fellow in the background's on the phone, and it's in some form of a square where there's a monument there. Does he say where he took it? No, he doesn't, but he's taken with the XT1 18mm f2. Yeah, using that lens, that girl probably didn't even realize you were taking a photograph of her. So it's a great opportunity to take these sort of images. And yeah, it works. The only thing I believe is these white vehicles here that keeps catching my eye. I would have just taken a crop straight down there, get rid of those vans, that white car and the van in the background. Not worried about these over here, because you can't crop too much of it, but certainly down the right hand side I would have lost that, and bring in a vignette to just darken these corners down there. You're all right in this top right, but down in the right it's just a little bit bright here. But yeah, that's how I would improve that image. Lovely mono shot of this dying flower, the essence of October, taken by Atsy. Yes, it's a beautiful mono shot. You've got the rain droplets. You've got it focused here beautifully on the petals of the plant, which are obviously dying. The stem is out of focus, and you've got the lovely bokeh around. This is This type of photography is becoming quite popular now. Although you're still getting the colored photographs of plants, it does make you think a little bit more about the image when it's in straight mono, as Ats is done here. So well done, Atsa, for that. Thinking with the Sony again, the old Tamron 90mm being used again, and these 90mm lenses are fantastic to use for horticultural type images that Ats is done here. It gives you that opportunity to compress the background against the foreground, and this is exactly what's happened with a wide aperture at 2.8, totally out of focus in the background, but all those that bokeh effect has been brought closer to the element which you're photographing. So it's a beautiful shot. I really, I love mono shots of flowers. Believe it or not, it really does make you think. Now we've gone to the other end of the scale, where he's taken a photograph in color with the using the bokeh again, with the background of the greens and the blues and a little bit of yellow on these rose hips. Now, do you prefer that to that style? Let me do it again. That to that style. My preference is for the mono style, but that's just me. Focusing issues, a little bit of a focusing issue here. The front cherry here is the one, in my opinion, which should be in focus. The two that are slightly behind, I get the impression, they're the two that should be out of focus. A little bit of camera shake, maybe. It's not quite in focus on this left-hand edge of these rose hips. So that's the element where I would say be careful. Let's have a look at the EXIF data, see if there's a speed on this. It's very difficult to pick up when it's not registering. It doesn't actually say. I don't think, I can't see it, but I think there's a little bit of camera shake in that image, which you do have to be careful when you do horticultural type photography such as this. If I go back to the mono image, this is perfect. Your subject matter is that head of that flower, and that's crisp, sharp image. This one, unfortunately, from my opinion, just loses a little bit because of this camera shake. Or is it just the fact that they were blowing in the wind? That could well be the case. In which case, make your shutter speed faster so you can stop them in action. But yeah, this one here in the front is the one that should be in focus for my liking. Two ladies having a chat. Very nice image, well taken, Kaha, very nice. I like this. And they don't know you're taking the shot. I would just take the strip off the right-hand side where you've got the blue of it's around the corner of this club, I'm assuming, just to trim it up, bring a little bit of balance in on the other side. So you've got them dead center. They're pairing in the center of the frame. But other than that, it's really good, nice and sharp. Nice and sharp. This photograph reminds me of a photograph taken by a street photographer from Australia. His name I can't remember at the moment. But then you see the aircraft in the background, and it's well seen. It's a well seen photograph. I'm trying to rack my brain to remember that Australian photographer. It will come to me, I bet, when I finish the broadcast. But I think you're seeing here something where you're looking at the sky. Obviously, you've got the movement of the birds, but then you've got the aircraft, which obviously there's a correlation between aircraft and bird and flight and of that nature. But I love the movement of the bird compared to the stillness of the aircraft, which, gives you a sort of strange sort of element to it, because those aircraft have got to be moving. So one assumes he's panning with the aircraft, then you've got the blur of the birds. And if you've done that on a deliberate way, then well done for seeing it. And if it's happened by accident, great, fantastic opportunity that it's happened by accident. Doesn't matter to me. It's a great image. I love the movement of the birds and yet the stillness of these four aircraft. Nice moody shot of a lake, the reeds moving, the water's obviously moving, the stillness, slight stillness of the bushes in the background. I'd like to have seen a little more detail in the shadow area, but that said and done, I think this is a this is a nice, pleasant shot taken of the lake and the reeds. Beautiful shot by Stephen here of a lake, mixed weather. Cool, you can say that again. Taken in the Annandale water. So, is that the Lake District? I think it is the Lake District, isn't it? Love the cloud effect here. The hills in the background, and I can see where you don't want to emphasize too much detail in the hills because it is a very, very cloudy day and it's affected by shadow. If you brought these details out here, it would just be totally unbalanced. So I love the way that you've created that balance by you're emphasizing the cloud and the weather, and then obviously you've got this effect on the water where the sun has been able to play outside the cloud, so to speak, onto the water. A little bit of green in the forestry area here and a little bit of catch light on the right hand side, but showing the beauty of this area with the way that just flows down from the lake down the valley. I'm not too sure about this shot, Stuart. I've got to be honest with you. I think there's too much outside the main subject of the model, climbing the walls. I would have taken a little bit off the right hand side and tried to get in a little bit closer, but I have seen images like this. Trevor Yerbury and Faye do a lot of this type of work, and they concentrate in mono, and I'm wondering whether the mono effect of this may have worked, because I do find the green leafage either side a little bit of a distraction away, believe it or not, from the lady, the model, singer Mercedes Purcell, taken in Nottingham, D800 2470. I'm sure that she would be very happy with the image. To give it a little twist, I'd like to see that in mono. I'd like to see that in mono, because I think by bringing it into mono, it'll give it that little bit of a twist, which makes which would make the image just a little bit of a bite to it. But you got 33 favorites and people like it. I know, I wouldn't be surprised if the singer Mercedes likes it. This is an interesting shot, and I'd love to know if Atsi could tell us how on earth. There you go. He was standing on the bridge across the River Rhine. Okay, so James, thanks for asking the question, because I was looking at how the blazes did you take that photo? Of course, you're on a bridge over a river, and this boat has just come down the river. Is it the Rhine? Did you say? Yes, the River Rhine. Yeah, I know it well. So yeah, and it's a great abstract shot, isn't it? And the wave of the boat pushing these waves away as it surges through, and you just created it so that it doesn't actually touch the bottom. It's gone through, and you've got the mast there showing with the radar system and the flags, and yeah, great idea. Well done, well spotted, and thanks for asking the question, James. I love the interaction you guys are creating for each other, asking questions about how the photographer made the image, and why not chuck your comments in there as well, good or bad, because that's the only way we're going to improve. Me as well. That's the only way we're going to improve, by making comments on people's work. Cute shot by Atsi here of a little dog out of someone's jacket pocket, and I would just cropped it down the left-hand side to lose that yellow line. But personal preference. Let's see how sharp, beautiful, sharp image. Look at that. Sharp on the nose. Brilliant. He's a little cute, isn't he? The hypothesis of cuteness. Well said. 34 favorites, well deserved. And you got some beautiful comments there made on the image. Yeah, a little bit of a vignette up in the top left here. This bright light I keep looking out there. This is where I want to be looking. This is where I want to be looking at this cute little face. Great street shot, Andrew Criswell again. Thank you, Andrew, for posting it up. There's a bit of activity going on. Right, they just jumped off some kind of a bus stroke taxi in, I'm going to assume, Hong Kong, Bangkok, only because of the previous images you've shown us. Again, there's a story here. Where they're going. What are they going to do? Where have they been? Have they just come out of school? Are they going to college? I like it. Great street work here. And I love the tonality as well. A little bit of movement as well in the images of the subject matter coming through. That doesn't matter because this type of work needs to show movement. Too static, you lose concentration and sort of a concentration. That's the best way I can put it on the image itself. So I'm not put off by movement of the head there. She's just slightly out of focus. Does it? Yes, she's just slightly out of focus. You can see it, but she's not. She's in focus. Just a little bit of loss there, but her ring and hand are sharp. She's out of focus. So the bag and the arm sharp. So it's telling a story. She's moving, and that's perfectly okay in a street image created here. Thank you, Andrew. Another one by Andrew. Yeah, the guy's got his head down there, and he's obviously alongside a river here. Can't fault it. Can't fault it at all. Moving on. Direct eye contact here by Okaha. And well done for doing it. And this is going to sound silly, but look at the angle here of this umbrella on that foot. Now, a lot of people would say, no, crop that right out. But I like that. I like that bit to show that there is something going on outside this image. And it's nice that you've caught the eye-to-eye contact here. Yeah, I like that. I like that image, and I like the fact this is someone's coming into the frame here. It's a little bit of uncertainty, and I don't know what's going to happen next. Where's that person going? I'm assuming they're inside a building. They're going to go upstairs. Is that a station or something? See how you build a story around looking at an image, and I like it. Ben vibes. Concentration. Yeah, he's looking straight at you. XT1, 18mm again, f2. Yeah. Nice work. Yeah, this one, I'm disappointed because I can't see the guy's face. I know it's in shadow, but I like to have seen his face, and I think you could do that. I think you could get the detail out of the face there by doing a selective tool on the face and just a tad bring it out of the shadow. It's got to show some form of shadow because he's under a peaked hat and you can see where the sunlight's coming from. So that's understandable, but to be totally blacked out, it doesn't work for me. I'd like to see a little bit of element of his face, and if you did do that, that image would change immediately. You only just have to select his face and just bring a little bit of detail out of the shadow, and that would that would improve that image in my book considerable. I think I've seen this image before. Sorry, John, it doesn't do anything for me. I need a wider angle to see what rice land is all about. Little friend Bella, X Pro 2, taken with the 18-55mm lens. What a cracking lens that is. Yeah, again, I can't fault it. I'd crop it a little bit. This stem here of this flower is a little bit of distraction. You've got a flower right on the edge of the frame. I'd crop it down the center there. Still keep the main interest here. I like the vignette that you've done, but I would crop down the right-hand side here to get this stem is just a slight, because it breaks into that black area, is a little distraction. So yeah, that's where I was just checking the comments which may be made there, and that's what I would do. I'd just crop that little slither down there. Beautiful shot, Steve. Thanks for posting it. Sunrise across the Gulf. Guys are out in their kayaks. Yeah, kayaks, and the foreground image here. Nice vignette as well, which centers my image, my interest in the part here with the sun and the guys in the kayaks. Yeah, it's a lovely image. Yeah, you got to catch these guys. There's a lot of kissing going on in the streets these days, which is great to see. And if you can get a shot like this, it's well worth it. Two guys walking past, haven't got a clue, haven't got any interest at all. These two, so much in love, they're having a nice little kiss. And it's a good, fun photograph, well spotted. When you see something like this, grab it and then look at it later on and see if it works. I've done a couple of these myself recently, and they do make me smile when I see it. It's lovely to see. I wouldn't change anything on this image at all. I think that's as good as it gets. Well done. Guys working on the refuse lorries early morning. And yeah, you're right, James, you can smell it from here. This is the type of work which I think a lot of us would not like to be doing, but it has to be done. And I like the light here, which is obviously being created by the inside of the vehicle, the green. So you just got a little bit on the face there. It's a lovely action shot. Although they're not moving, you know what they're doing. They're making sure that everything's being, grabbed and pulled up into the vehicle. So it's a great street shot. Yeah, I love the use of the color as well. Thanks for that comment, Hernan. Using the XT10, neat little camera with a 27mm. That's the pancake lens. That's a great lens. Yeah, I can't fault this. Can't fault it at all. You obviously got out there early morning, decided to do some urban stroke street type work, and this one works very well. Nice catch of the boy walking past you. Well done. Thanks for posting it. Lots of action going on here. People walking past. This little boy's thinking about something, isn't he? I wonder what he's thinking about. And that's the story for me. What's he thinking about? Is he dreaming of being a footballer? Or is he not looking forward to going to school? But that's not school time, is it? Because people are drinking in the background. Or is that coffee? You see the story that you build up as you start looking at these images. It's not just what's happening here in the face, it's what's happening in the background, which is important this time. I think if you started to crop this, you would have lost the elements of this particular street scene. Young girl there, little girl here, parents probably older, people in the background, and this person behind the little boy. But what's he thinking about? Blue Hour, thank you, Steve, for posting. Yes, you caught the sun really quite nicely there as it disappears behind. Lovely out of focus sky here. Obviously, you had a long exposure, yet 6.5 seconds. So yeah, well done for that. F16 X6 XT1 56mm 1.2. Yep. Nice shot. Love this little green slash of color here. I like that. 95 favorites. Well done. This is another good one, Andrew. Thank you. Lovely urban shot. Person walking past it, a little bit blurry. The yellow catches your eye. The stairs. There's obviously a river here by the looks of things to give you the reflection. This is obviously taken out in the in Asia again. I'm assuming the Bangkok region. 3 favorites. Yeah, I like that. Just seen down here, you've posted on the Candid Frame. Of course, Baronex also does critique of photographs, but he doesn't do all of them. He just takes ones that he wants to comment about. I do all of them. Oh, kind of waiting. So we got the chairs. Watch your verticals. Watch your verticals. There, it's leaning over to the left-hand side. Love the title. As it's commented there, you've used a different lens by the looks of things because it just registers f1. So I'm thinking it's a third-party lens. It's a 28mm, as I say, taken with the XE1. I love my XE1. Just watch your vertical. That for me spoils it. It's leaning over to the left-hand side. Try and strain it up a little bit. Andrew with some street photograph again. This guy's good. Come on. Andrew's good at this street stuff. So much atmosphere here with this particular shot. I don't need to see the back of this guy. I know what he's doing. He's mixing. He's doing some mixing there. I don't think it's food. It's got to be some kind of industrial type pots that he's stirring there, or boiling some kind of leathers maybe, or material. But look at that atmosphere. And it's great in color, because this is important here. This banner and this color in the background here. A lot of people would say the mono is better, but I like the color in that. And again here, these two, the lady's looking at you, the fella's looking behind you. So something's going on behind you, isn't it, Andrew? Great image. I probably would I've cropped that left-hand side a little bit. No, because I think it's important to show where they're actually sighted. They're actually by the river. So again, XT10 and the XF60 2.4. Love the tonality. She's looking straight past you. The guy behind you has spotted you taking the photograph. She hasn't got a clue what you're doing, which is great. Would it have been better if she'd been looking at you? Probably, but she wasn't going to. So, you know, you've caught a street scene here of this young lady who is looking at something down the street, and the other fella's frowning because he's wondering why you're taking a photograph of her. Tells a story. Not worried about the car. Yes, he's wondering what he can get out of that bin, which does give you a little bit of forethought, concern, a worry about how his life is treating him. He's got a warm drink there. And he's got his made-up hat. That's a well-spotted scene. And it makes you think. Beautiful autumn sunrise. Thank you, James, for posting it. XT10, everyone. There's a few guys getting the XT10 out. It's a camera which I used to have, actually, but I found it a little bit small in my hand, so I switched to the X Pro 1. And he's using with it a 50mm f4. Mounted on an M42 mount. Okay, got it. Screw mount. Great colors. Love the action of the cloud here. Even though it's at 1/250th of a second, you've got a bit of movement in the sky here, which is nice. Very vibrant colors of the trees. And as you say, that camera, the 50mm f4, is probably not the sharpest, but it's certainly giving you a character of the image. And you're quite right, it has given you a character of the image. It's disappointing you've only got 9 favorites after 152 views of this particular image, but there we go. That's, people are missing the point here of it. Yes, it's a very pleasing shot, that. I like this one, Suburban Sunrise. Probably, though, a little bit oversaturated on the green, may I suggest. But again, using that 50mm f4 on the XT10. Yeah, I'd look at the blue and the green of this particular image. I think they just need to be, the vibrancy just needs to be taken down a little bit. But it certainly catches your eye straight away. Some would say, no, that's fine. You know, I'm very happy with the vibrancy of the color. And probably when you see it in a gallery, it would be totally different from what you see here on the screen. I'm just making sure my excuse me, my brightness is up to 100% as we view these photographs. But no, for me, the green's a little bit too sharp and too vivid, and there's the sky's a little bit too blue. I would just take the saturation down of those colors, select it in Lightroom, those colors, and just take the blue down and the green. Lovely shot of a band playing in a club. Great expression on the face, both faces in actual fact. One's out of the focus in the background there, but they're well into their music. Brotherhood, Nottingham based band. Yeah, I really like this, and I'll bet you they wanted to see that photograph afterwards, Stuart. And if they didn't, and they weren't given the opportunity, get in touch with them straight away. Nice abstract shot here of where we're going. Car wheel treads showing on what appears to be a frosted driveway, and it's taken with the Sony 7 again, and yeah, beautiful patterns being created here, and the abstract effect of these tire marks, tire treads. Interesting shot. Lovely portrait by John McLaughlin here. I think the first time you've posted something, John. Thanks for doing that. Lovely portrait. A little bit too much on the top side, maybe take a little bit down there and just try and get a little bit concentrated more on her head and her hand. Beautiful, beautifully sharp. Look how sharp that is. Lovely focus on that, her right eye. The left side as we look at D300. 2470 2.8 lens, taking an f9. Yeah, for me, I'll just take a little slither off the top there, just a little bit. Another nice shot, John. Nothing wrong with this. Little girl and her dog, beautiful dog, looking down the coastline. Seas in the background there, out of focus. Using the D4 this time, 500mm lens, f5.6. So you're quite a distance away from this, I would have assumed. But even so, it's a nice image, beautiful balance of color. I like it. Let's have a look at the focus issues. Yeah, look at that. It's just so sharp. It's so sharp, it's ridiculous. Especially on the glasses there, which is what it's all about. Concentration on the girl's head and the dog obviously moving. What was the speed of the 2000th of a second? Okay. Yeah, but you focused on the girl's head. I can see that. Nice shot, John. You should have more than 10 favorites on that. This one again is a story here. What is going on? She's got her hands on his shoulder. Has there been an accident? Has something happened behind you? He's on the mobile phone. Is he taking a number or is he dialing someone? Is he just checking his text messages? I love this. I could just go round and round and just constantly ask myself questions. For me, that's what street photography is all about, just a constant viewing of images and trying to work out what's happened here. Something's happened. She's very concerned. She's got her hand on that fella's shoulder. Great shot. Well seen. Guys crossing the road. Could we have made it a nice pano shot? Maybe. I think there's too much roof here. Could we have just slowed the shutter speed down a little bit to give it a little bit more movement of these people crossing the road? XT1 18 1/200th of a second. And I think that's the two elements which are missing from this image. I think you need to just level it off. Can you see they're all sloping down to the right here a little bit? And I would have just made this a nice pano to show in this particular scenario. The next time you take a photograph like this, drop the shutter speed down to a suitable speed. You can do it with the f8 with an 18mm, no problem with that. You've got to drop that down to a 30th of a second and got these guys blurred going right across the street, and I think that would have improved the image. Nice image of a flower head showing the interior part of the image going macro. Nice image, Scampagni. I like the way you've done this, and look at that sharpness on that. Beautiful sharpness on those items there. I don't know what the word is. XE1 28mm. So when you see images like this, now the XE1 is a third generation back of the Fuji X series cameras. There's nothing wrong with that. So my question would be, is there any need to upgrade to the XE2 and the XE2S? Makes you think, doesn't it? Great shot, Steve. Thanks for posting this one. Beautiful sun rays coming in here with the horses. I can't fault that. I can't make any further comment with regards to it or give you any potential improvements to make of the image. Lovely. John McLaughlin with a clown in the background. Beautiful focus. Twinkles. Crop down the left-hand side here to get rid of that hand. That does nothing in the image at all. Just crop it down, get it nice and tight on these two clowns. Three favorites, D200, 200mm lens at 1/500th of a second. Yeah, that's where I would just crop it down the left-hand side. I can see this hand and I keep going to that hand and I want to concentrate here. Booth Bay, nice. Again, this is one of these shots which is missing something. It's too flat. You need to bring some vibrancy in. You need to bring a little bit more contrast in, and I think also this would be enhanced more if you bring a vignette into the side, into the corners, which would enhance it more. But it's too flat, so a little bit more contrast, a little bit more vibrancy, and just a tad of clarity and saturation in the image may just make the difference here. And then I think you bring that vignette, I think you get a little bit of a wow factor from the image. The other opportunity you could go is make this a mono shot and go straight and make it a high contrast image, just to bring a little twist into the composition of the creation that you've made here. But for my idea of looking at it, is a little bit too flat. And I think probably one other thing, although you've got a boy here, this boy here, I think I would clone out. I would get rid of that boy. I know it's as you've seen it, and that's what it's there. It's there to do a job, but it is a distraction in the image, which I think would be improved if it wasn't there. And you can do that because we have the tools. It's not for reportage. It doesn't matter. It's for a personal fine art photograph. So look at those elements. You can go the color route, more punchy, contrast, a little bit of vibrancy, saturation and clarity. Don't overdo it. Just on those in and bring the vignette in the corners. But then also take another option and see what you can create with a nice punchy mono image, heavy contrast image, but clone this boy out. We cut saloon, and you got a straight street scene here. I would have liked to have seen an individual walking towards me, not walking away. And probably would have had to stand around a little bit longer for that, Andrew, but that's my thought. Squiddly diddly. No, I'm sorry, Andrew, that doesn't do anything for me, that particular image. I wonder whether it might work in color, if you've got the color option. John's image here again, another church tower, Caroline Tower, framed by the trees, left and right, and obviously the one at the bottom. I would have just moved myself a little bit to the left so that I could have cleared that foliage away from the tower in the top right hand corner. That's the only bit that I would have changed on that particular image. Sharpness, well, you can't fault that, can you? Look at that. That's perfect. I would have moved it a little bit to the left just to get a separation of this foliage to that tower. She's looking straight at me. Great capture. I'm hoping you asked her for this image. Pretty certain you would have done if she'd asked with that lovely smile, beautifully in focus. D4 7200 at the 200 mil end. I bet, yeah, 5.6 1/400 of the second. Now, the only point I would make here, I would take a crop down the right hand side just to balance that up. That's the only thing I would do. That's my personal opinion, but you can't fault it for the focus. Eyelashes, focuses on the eye. It's a lovely shot. And this guy walking past, head down, you're looking up. Is it a hip shot? If it's a hip shot, Kaja, well done. Great shot. And he's totally oblivious to you, what you're doing. And again, it's a story. What's the guy thinking about? Where's he going? What's he been doing? And it's a great street shot. A great street shot. A little bit of crop down the left-hand side. See this bright lamppost here? Just a crop down there, maybe, would have helped it a little bit more. I know that would have put him slightly off center, but that doesn't matter. That's what I would just get rid of that. Or maybe just clone it out. That would probably be a little bit tricky. Photoshop, you could do it in content fill, but I think probably just a crop straight down there would make it a lot easier. And that's it. I'm up to date with all your postings of photographs. Thank you so much for posting all those photographs. An absolutely superb set. The street photography is, I love looking at the street photography that you've created. And there's some really interesting work that you're putting together. I'm no doubt there are some photographers here that have been taking photographs for a number of years and have really, really into their hobby, and maybe I think some of them may be on the professional side. So I hope you've appreciated the comments I've made, and they're not in any form to tell you this is what you should do. These are my comments as I see your images. So I'm going to set you an assignment: 5 shots of your local street or town. 5 shots of your local street or town in mono or in color. Try and keep them to the same genre, mono or color. And let's have 5 shots up. I'll make the adjustment in the uploading opportunities for you from the regular 2 to 5. And let's see street shots of your local community, your local area. It could be photographs of your street that you live in. It could be the local crescent where your local shops are, or your high street or a market. But let's see 5 shots of your local area. Please don't go to the local city. Like me, 30 minutes from London, and then take photographs of London. It's the local community where you live. If you live in an apartment, let's see the apartment flats and the blocks that they're comprised of. If you live in a detached house, let's see what the community you live in. So 5 shots of your local community. Now that tip, 500px, is something I've spotted here. I've been putting a lot of photographs up on 500px, and I'm delighted that I've been getting a sort of a voting level of around about 85 to 90%. And it's when you get over 25 votes that your score starts going up into the 80s. When you start heading up towards 30 votes, then you get over 90. And those guys in that 90 to 99, I haven't come across one with a 100% mark. Those guys are the guys that are recognized and spotted by the editors and the editor's choice. Now, I'm not saying that if you get yourself into the 90s, the editor's going to choose your image straight away, but those are the images which he's going to look at first. So how do you get to 90? Well, it's quite simple. If all 35 of us that are in this group join 500px, and if we then in actual fact make a a load of when it's posted to 500px, it also goes to the Flickr group. We can see the Flickr group update. Let's get onto the 500px and put a plus on it or a like, and we'll have 30 votes. If all 35 of us do that, you'll have 35 votes straight away, and your image will be in the top 90s. I hope 500px don't see this too soon before they change the algorithm. And of course, there's a time span that goes on with the number of viewings and the number of pluses. Then, of course, it will drop. But I tell you, I think I may be able to help you out here. By an actual fact, if we all get together, all 35 of us, get onto 500px, make a record that we know who we are actually in 500px, and like all our photographs. If we can do that, let ourselves know what the link is in the discussions on this on the Flickr group. Put your link down. Let's get ourselves onto there and start liking each other's photographs. And quite honest with you, I think we could be putting all our photographs in the top 90s, which is great. So the editor's going to be flooded with images. And I think in actual fact, that's how the other photographers are doing it. They're getting friends together and they're liking each other's work. Now, a lot of people will say, especially when this is on Flickr, that's not the reason why I put photographs up, but it is nice to get a couple of likes, isn't it? Let's be honest. So let's try and do that. 500px, let's all join up. It's free. You don't have to do the extra bit. Get yourself onto 500px. Let's find out what our links are in the discussion. Let's put them all up. I'm going to put mine up in a minute. And then we all just join in. And basically, when we know someone's put their photographs in, we get on there straight away and like it, and we'll get that level taken up into the high 90s. Is when you get over 30 votes that you get into the high 90s. So let's see how that works. Bit of fun. Assignment: 5 photographs of your local community. Thank you so much for being patient with me, and thank you so much for uploading your images. I'm now back on board with regards to the workshop, and then I've got a few more guests coming forward with my Photography Live and Uncut show, where I interview photographers from around the world. And suffice to say, please visit the website because I'm going to start doing workshops for people to join me in London and do some walkabouts, especially visitors over from the States. If you're coming over from the States and you're staying at a hotel, just give me a call and we'll meet up. And there is a fee for it, obviously, but meet up and I'll take you to the unusual parts of London, which probably a normal tour you won't see. So I look forward to some updates on that. Suffice to say, thanks Russian for watching this, and I've had a few viewers. Thank you so much, and all the best, and I'll catch you next time. Thank you. Bye for now.